County. Now he says still more victims may be found in a third location. Ron Ford talks to bounty hunter Leonard Padilla about what he's learned and
I certainly don't advocate ever letting death row inmates out of prison.
victim advocate Mark Klaas reacts to Governor Brown's decision to allow Sherman-Tyne to leave San Quentin's death row to personally lead the search.
This isn't really about allowing him out into the sunshine.
This is the Bay Area's news station. Calling for News at 8 starts now.
Wesley Sherman-Tyne and Lauren Herzog are believed to have gone on a meth-induced killing rampage during the 80s and 90s. Some say their victims could number into the dozens. Congress J.R. Stone is following that story. He has details about a possible new gravesite.
These are pictures of Cow Mountain, a location 124 miles north of San Francisco, known for off-roading and outdoor activities like hunting. Now, though, in the spotlight for what could be a series of eerie crimes. An uncovered human mass grave, according to bounty hunter Leonard Padilla.
He discussed it with me on the phone a couple times, yeah.
Padilla is making reference to his recent conversations with death row inmate Wesley Sherman-Tyne, one of two men dubbed Speed Freak Killer. Already notes from Sherman-Tyne have uncovered human remains in Calaveras County and San Joaquin County. Padilla says more remains. As many as 14 identities could be found in Lake County's Cow Mountain, where the two would go deer hunting.
Assuming that Sherman-Tyne is being straight with me.
Tuesday, a bill was signed into law that allows Sherman-Tyne to be escorted to possible grave sites in hopes of recovering remains. Padilla says this location in Lake County is now one of at least half a dozen that could be searched.
One for sure in Calaveras, and I believe that there's 4 in San Joaquin in the Flood Road area.
As to when these searches with Sherman-Tyne will happen, authorities will not say. The bounty hunter says they will remain secret, but keep in mind all of these searches that happen with him must happen in the next 6 months. Catherine, now back to you.
Thanks, J.R. Well, the new law signed by the governor is considered a good move by victims' rights groups. That's despite the fact it will give death row inmate Wesley Sherman-Tyne a rare chance to be outside the walls of prison. New at 8, Cronford's Jeff Bush got reaction from victim advocate Mark Klaas.
The governor's signature paves the way for convicted killer and death row inmate Wesley Sherman-Tyne to leave prison under heavy guard to help out with the search for the bodies of his and his partner in crime, Lauren Herzog. Victim advocate Mark Klaas says the governor did the right thing.
I think that it's a wonderful thing that they're doing. I certainly don't advocate ever letting death row inmates out of prison, but I think that this case is an exception. There are as many as 72 bodies out there. He can lead them to them, and he can bring closure to those 72 families.
But what about the notion that this will give a convicted serial killer who is supposed to spend the rest of his days behind bars the chance to see the sunshine and breathe fresh air outside the walls of San Quentin?
He is supposed to be executed for the crimes that he committed. And this isn't really about allowing him out into the sunshine. That's a collateral benefit. The real benefit is bringing some sense of finality to the families of the missing persons.
Klaas says providing a sense of closure to the victims' families is important.
They're holding on to a thread of hope, but they need to know with finality what happened to their relatives. And this could very well bring them that finality. And if this does do that for any of these cases, this will have been a few minutes of sunshine that will be well worth the effort.
At San Quentin, Jeff Bush, KRON 4 News.
San Francisco police are asking for public help in identifying 2 suspects from an Erie Street sexual assault case. A woman was assaulted in the area of Erie and Mission. That was on June 6th. She says the man put her in a bear hug and sexually assaulted her. And we have a sketch of one of the suspects. The second suspect described simply as a Hispanic man. Richmond police have arrested the man that they believe shot a 10-year-old boy 3 weeks ago. That little boy is recovering after being shot in the back. Christian Chappelle was taken into custody in Pittsburgh. Congress Reggie Kumar tells us how he was tracked down.
Investigators here at the Richmond Police Department want to thank the witnesses who bravely came forward and gave them the information needed to locate Christian Chappelle. The 20-year-old suspect was on probation for a previous weapons charge. Police say there was also an arrest warrant issued for Chappelle before he unintentionally shot 10-year-old Arturo Franco near South 15th Street and Main Avenue last month. But authorities would not tell us what he was wanted for.
We had some call-ins from citizens in the area that provided his name, and our detectives did follow up, and that's how they were able to identify him and locate him. There's no information right now indicating that it was any gang violence. We're still working on the investigation, trying to get as much info from the public and anybody else who might have some information as to who this person was that he was shooting at. We have some information that the detectives are following up on, which I can't really release and go into detail about, but we do know that there was a victim that he was shooting at, an intended target, and unfortunately the 10-year-old boy was shot in the process of it.
The vehicle he was aiming at drove off. Do we get a better description of that vehicle?
No, all we have right now is a black possible Ford Fusion, and we're still looking for that car.
A $10,000 reward was being offered in this case. Investigators say the citizen who gave them the most information about Chappelle's whereabouts could get the money. In Richmond, Reggie Kumar, KRON 4 News.
First shootings and murders, now robberies. Oakland police are dealing with a spike in crime this month. And a recent 24-hour period saw 14 robberies, 3 attempted robberies, and 3 carjackings. This all between 4 a.m. Monday and 4 a.m. today. We plotted the robberies here on this map so you can see where they're happening. 14 robberies, all these red dots, these yellow dots we've placed are the carjackings. We can take a closer look at this. Oakland police are now poring over the details, trying to slow down this recent crime trend.
1, 2. We're looking for patterns to see if we can identify any known groups or individuals that have any connections to each of these robberies. We have seen an increase in robberies in the last 24 hours. Sometimes we do see that. Crime will run in patterns or spikes. We will see an increase and then we'll see a decrease.
But several carjackings occurred in East Oakland.
At this point, it doesn't appear there's any specific groups or individuals that have connectivity to the various robberies. If this will be forwarded to our investigative divisions, are we looking at specific groups? Are we looking at individuals who are targeting specific areas? Through our crime mapping, our information sharing, the officers on the street bringing that information back to the investigators, we look at a complete and total picture.
Investigators say that one possible reason for the 24-hour robbery spike is the middle of the month. That's when a lot of people have more cash after getting paid. Whatever the reason is, crime continues to rise. A growing number of residents are turning to each other. They are forming neighborhood watch groups. However, KRON 4's Aziz Madoun found one neighborhood too fearful to take even that step.
Don't want the neighborhood watch signs on the door. I personally don't want one on my house or my yard.
Don't go looking for any neighborhood watch signs on doors and windows here on East Lawn Street in Oakland. This resident, who asked not to reveal her identity for the story, says the problem is being labeled a neighborhood snitch.
Yeah, it is. It's a snitching thing. Nobody wants to be a snitch.
We know that when neighbors know each other, neighborhoods are safer.
Claudia Albano leads Oakland's Neighborhood Services Division, which is gearing up for this year's National Night Out Neighborhood Watch celebration.
People are reluctant to form neighborhood